Hello, everyone. And first of all, I want to ask you a question. What comes to your mind when you see this picture? Maybe something complicated, or something that a child like me will not easily understand, right? Well, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you're wrong. Now, what do you think if I tell you that the code you have just seen was written by me when I was 10 years old to make a tic-tac-toe game? There you have the proofs. I'm not lying you. As you can see, programming can be something so easy that even a child can do it. And luckily, more and more of us believe it. But we'll talk about that later. Let's not be in a hurry. First of all, I'll introduce myself. I am Antonio Garcia Vicente. I am 13 years old, well, almost 14, and I come from Valladolid, Spain. You look a bit confused. I haven't sneaked in here or anything like that. I know seeing a child here talking in front of so many important people has to be a bit strange. But trust me, I'm really one of the speakers. And you will be like, okay, we trust you. But anyway, what have you done to be in here? Well, I'll tell you right now. Since I was little, I have always been very curious. I have always wanted to know the why and how of things. So when I was 6 years old, my parents took my sister and I to the Scratch Day. The Scratch Day is an event held every year in many cities around the world to teach boys and girls the basics of programming. In Valladolid, it is organized by the Computer Science University, so my whole family went there. With programming, I could not only understand why the things work, but I could go a step further. I was also able to decide how I wanted them to do it. So, for example, when I was playing Mario Bros., I could not only understand why the characters move when I press the buttons, but I was also able to program a similar game made by me. It was like a superpower, and I love it. So we kept looking for activities of this type, and a few months later, I managed to get into the Young Programmers Club of the University of Valladolid, where I am still learning with my teachers and partners different programming languages, each of them more advanced. But most importantly, I am learning to learn. At first, I started doing simple projects and quickly saw that I could use it to learn class subjects in a funnier way. Thus, I made games about the human body, the solar system, the economic systems, the minerals, about what we were being taught at each moment. By programming my own games, I could understand things that even because of my age, I wasn't supposed to know. So when I made the characters of my game run, jump, or bounce, I was also learning concepts such as speed, gravity, acceleration, friction. With the musical projects, I could learn music. And even with the Q&A games, I was learning history and natural science. I also learned how to represent figures in space by drawing geometric figures or representing mathematical concepts. Everything was possible, and my creativity was skyrocketing. And that's how my school began to give me tasks. The first one was for the little children. They asked me to make an orchestra that the children had made out of cardboard and rubber really sound. What a challenge for a 7-year-old kid, right? But I told a friend of mine, and between the two of us, we succeeded. We made an application that by connecting instruments, such as a floor piano or some buckets full of water, when the children played them, melodies sounded. Children between 3 and 5 years of age look at us with huge eyes like saying, "Guys, you're doing magic." Because when they stepped on that huge piano that they had made, or even when they were playing, they sounded like musical instruments. Soon, the word spread, and more tasks came, because everything I did was taught in class, and we used it to study together. My partners began to be interested as well. They wanted to learn the same as me, but since we all couldn't go to the university club, I decided to take the club to my school. And that's how I founded the Páramo de Villanubla programming clubs, where at first we were a few, I'm not gonna lie, about 10 children, all classmates, to whom I talked where I learned at the other club. But step by step, it grew up to more than 120 boys and girls between 6 and 16 years old who have passed through the club. Currently, there are more teachers, of course, and I prepare some projects for them to do in the youngest classes, and I also attend the older ones as a student. The year after setting up the club, we organized the Hour of Code, which is an international event to promote programming as a subject in all schools, where programming challenges of different levels are carried out. Well, that year, we managed to bring together 113 people, between boys and girls, teachers, parents, and even mayors and conciliars from several nearby villages. But the thing did not stop there. When I was 8 years old, I was chosen as a TEDx Youth Valladolid speaker, and with my talk program to learn without limits, I encouraged boys and girls to learn by playing and play by learning. I also told them to stop being just game consumers, to become creators of everything that comes to their mind. The limit, their imagination. Well, this talk has already more than 2 million visits. It is translated into several languages. It is included in various educational platforms. And thanks to it, I have been able to spread the illusion that I put into what I do with children and adults from all over the world. From there, they began to come from many places, from Costa Rica, Mexico, Venezuela, Colombia, to participate in their educational projects or to encourage other kids to program. And then there were more presentations and events on education, future, marketing, and more interviews and participations in radio and television programs from all over the world. As I continued to learn programming, I realized that I could use it for other uses besides the educational ones. And I started to be concerned about the social problems that surround us, especially those related with the climate change. And I decided that I could not stand still. So with my sister Noelia and my friend Danny, we began to think how we could help. And that's how we created joinusfortheplanet.org. Joinusfortheplanet.org is a web platform made up of a social network, a content manager, and a gamification system, so that anyone who wants to provide solutions has a tool at their disposal to do so. For it, they can publish actions for the recovery of polluted spaces or devastated by natural disasters. They can participate as volunteers in the actions of others, or they can share awareness content. In exchange, they will receive points exchangeable for products from our sponsors, and also recognition badges that gives them more prestige within the network. We want anyone who wants to act in whatever way, big or small, to be able to do so. And that's why we created this meeting point to join forces, however small they may seem. With this project, we have won several prizes at social innovation contests, such as the Fuller Educational Challenge of Telefónica Foundation and Asoka, the Audi Creativity Challenge, and the first prize of environmental initiatives of Ecolatras and Ecovideo. Right now, we are in the launch phase, and we need users of all kinds to support and publish actions, so that together we can start showing change. So cheer up, go into joinusfortheplanet.org, register, and you will surely find some way to help. Maybe with your actions, maybe as volunteers, or perhaps as sponsors to help other users carry out their initiatives. And so, I have reached today. Currently, I have developed a multitude of games and mobile applications. But what I'm most proud of is that many people have been encouraged to learn programming by the fact that they have seen that I could do it. And if I could, why couldn't they? For all this year, I have been chosen as a Young Changemaker by Asoka. What's this about? I'll explain. The Young Changemaker community is a network carefully selected by Asoka. It is made up by young people under 21 years of age who have found a way to provide solutions for the good of society, and who furthermore are ready to assume the role as young influential people to become the leaders of the social change in our country. We each have our own entrepreneurial project with which we try to generate a real change based on the development of skills such as empathy, critical thinking, teamwork, and proactivity. The final idea is to promote positive social impact through social innovation, to awaken that concern in other young people around the world that when they see us will be inspired and will also want to participate in that change so that the Young Changemaker community grows larger and larger. And what does my project as a Young Changemaker consist of? Well, my project is to promote universal digital education, so that we all have access to the same resources. I want to share everything I have been fortunate enough to learn so that other children can begin to prepare for the future. I have a very clear objective, that programming becomes one more subject in all schools. Why? Because programming helps us to understand many things, and above all, it is fun. Because we can learn by playing and play by learning, and because it is important that we prepare for our future. Look, in the USA, 90% of parents want their children to study coding, right? But just the 47% of schools teach it. In Spain, the data are even worse, and we do not have any national curriculum that include it. And this has to change. In 2020, there were 1,400,000 programming-related jobs, and just 400,000 computer science students. 1 million to go. Right now, all professions are automated. In all jobs, there are computers, be it in a shop, in a bar, in a medical clinic, in a school, in a law firm, in a factory, even in a farm. Technology is in all of them. People and things have become connected sensors, continuously sending information. Every time we buy, every time we connect to a social network, every time we consult a page on the internet. And we must interpret all that information to learn from it. And not only that, programming has also become something that we find ourselves in our day-to-day without even realizing it, and something that we already use. And yes, I've said everyone, not just engineers or computer scientists. What? Don't you believe me? Well, you're going to show me right now. Raise your hands, the ones who like cooking. Well then, developing a cooking recipe is also like programming. Yes, because you will have some ingredients, and with those ingredients you will follow elaboration to make the final dish that you want. In this case, a Spanish omelette. Now imagine that the ingredients were the data of a program, and the elaboration, the code. If we made the data follow the code, we will finally have the program that we wanted. Do you see how easy it is to understand? Even a child can do it. Yes, because I'm sorry to tell you this, but children have better learning qualities than adults, and furthermore, have been born in a world surrounded by technology. For us, learning to code is very funny. Programming a robot that can move as we order it, or building a little game, will capture our interest, and our motivation to keep learning will increase. In brief, there are 10 reasons why children should learn coding. First of all, math. We visualize abstract concepts and apply mathematics and physics to the real world, making it easier and funnier. Second, writing. We learn how to be more concise and structured, and we naturally practice English. Third, creativity. It stimulates our creativity, originality, and imagination. Four, confidence. Our self-esteem increases as we overcome our challenges. 5, focus and organization. Coding teaches us how to divide a problem into smaller ones and to reason possible solutions from different perspectives to solve them more effectively. 6, resilience. We improve tolerance for frustration and learn from mistakes. 7, communication. Programming teaches us logical communication, computational and critical thinking. 8, empowerment. Encourage teamwork and collaboration by empowering us to make a difference. 9, life skills. Coding is a basic literacy in the digital age, and it is essential that we understand the technology that surrounds us to be able to innovate with it. And finally, 10, career preparation. There's a high demand for workers in the tech industry. Learning to code at a very young age will allow us to excel in any field that we choose. So what? Do you still have any doubt about how our education should be? We are lucky to be digital natives. We know how to handle technology, but you must teach us how to use it in a positive way. Because we will be the ones who will have to design, create, and program the machines that in the future will improve our life. So give us the necessary tools so that we can do it. These tools will be a key factor in our future, and they will be necessary for any profession that we choose. And we all must have the same right to be training them to face the exciting future that awaits us with equality. I don't roll up anymore. I just want to ask you a favor. Change the way you teach. Innovate. Be brave. You will see how much we are capable of understanding and learning. The truth is that we don't even know how our future will be, but I am sure that we do know how we want to prepare for it. Thank you so much for listening to me, and see you soon.